we only got one rule on here, Larry. What's that rule?
Get on here, you gotta talk that. Yeah, you can't. Hey, no holding back now. No holding back. Y'all gotta tell us the truth.
Ain't no sugarcoating, man.
Truth.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy NeezyA and Larry Prince Brooks with
What's good? Talking to your family.
with another episode of yours truly, Talking That Yeah. And man, we got a lot of love last week, Larry, on episode 6.
Yeah, we did. Got our views up.
Yeah, we said we was going, go on a little reconstruction, re-improvement, give the people what they wanted. Add a little drama last week. We got some more drama coming this episode.
Yeah.
But we got two very, very special guests joining us today. I'm going to introduce my guest first. His name is EJ Gonzalez. He is a sports agent under GSA, which is Grady Sports Agency, and just a real stand-up guy, a great husband, a great father, a hooper, surprisingly, from the great state of Florida, specifically Tampa. He graduated from Florida State. He studies and he's an attorney by trade. Just a real stand-up guy. We got him in for some questions today and joining us on Talking That Yeah.
And then on my side, man, we got John Smith. He's a sports agent for team sports, and he played ball back in his day. He said he was cold, but I don't know. I seen him throw the ball and catch the ball, try to catch the ball anyway. But yeah.
Most definitely. So without further ado, we're going to add our guest to the stage. What's up, guys, man? Welcome to the show,
What's
man.
up? What's up? Thanks for having us.
No
Yes,
problem,
sir.
man.
Appreciate y'all.
I want to thank y'all for jumping on with us, man. Jumping on and talking that, yeah. And I mean, like, we only got one rule on here, Larry. What's that rule?
Get on here, you gotta talk that. Yeah, you can't. Hey, no holding back now. No holding back. Y'all gotta tell us the truth.
Hey, no sugarcoating, man.
Truth.
Like we talked about last week, it's all about supply and demand. And the fans demand the truth on this show. They told us we were sugarcoating too much through the first couple of episodes. That's why we came back hard last week. And so y'all got to help us get the views up. So I need y'all keeping it raw and real on this show as we go forward. Y'all can do that?
I think we can do that.
Yes, sir. Of course.
Yeah, but before we get into the first question, I got to hear y'all say talk that yeah. Got to hear y'all say talk that yeah.
Come on now, somebody.
Talk that, yeah.
Talk that, yeah.
For sure, man. So popping it off, man. We just want to ask y'all the first general question: what led you to pursue a career as an agent?
Go ahead, EJ.
You want me to take this first? Okay. So for me, little cliche. I'm not gonna lie. I think a lot of people my age saw this movie back in the day. Before I saw this movie, I didn't even know being a sports agent was an actual job. Back in 99, 2000, I saw this movie, Jerry Maguire. And, I know a lot of people have said that is the reason, that kind of opened their eyes. For me, same thing. I saw the movie, I thought to myself, I always had a law track. My dad's an attorney. So I wanted to kind of like go, the route that he went, but not do the exact same thing. He does criminal defense, not really something that I'm really ever into or going to be into, but I love sports. So I think it was, coupling my passion for sports, being 5'7", 150, like I wasn't playing anywhere in college. So like very early on, like I knew that, my only way to be around this was to, sharpen my mind, get into the business aspect of it. So, here I am.
Cool. Yes, sir. So then that taught me that helped me pursue becoming an agent. My brother, he played in the NFL for 11 years, being undrafted, named Sean Smith, played for Cowboys. He ended up with the Chiefs right before they was good and everything like that. And just he just taught me the aspects of the league and the business side of like money, like negotiating contracts. And so as I knew once I went to college, everything like that, I was going to get my master's and then pursue that field, because at the end of the day, I always like to help people and I like being behind closed doors and doing that stuff.
Cool. So, John, I got a quick question for you. So, like, with your brother being in the league for so long, do you often go to him for advice as far as how to relate to your clients?
Yeah, most definitely. most definitely. Especially him being from New York, like, keep it real and everything. So it's just all about telling the truth.
Most definitely. And EJ, one thing I've never really asked you, um, in college, like, were you cool with any athletes? Like, was there a relationship specifically in college that you might have had with someone that was an athlete to where you were like, okay, like, let me find out a little bit more about sports since that's something that I really want to do?
Um, I'd love to answer that question in the affirmative and tell you yes, but I spent a lot of my college time partying and not being disciplined, if I'm being honest with you.
Right.
So no, I didn't. You know, it's one of those things like, and I think a lot of people hear this. Like you hear people say, like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Then 10 years later, you turn around and they're in the exact same place they were 10 years ago. Yet they're still telling people this is what they're going to do. There have been no affirmative steps to get there. Nothing. That's who I was in my early 20s, if I'm being completely honest. So, it got to a point for me where, it was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put all my eggs in this basket. There's no plan B if you want to be an agent. Like that, I will tell you. It's not something you do half-ass where, I'm an attorney, but I'm also an agent. Like I'm an agent, but I'm also an attorney. Like that's how I look at it. Like agency is first. So.
Most definitely, man. Appreciate that. Hey, EJ talking a year early.
You're real with us.
My second question is, can you take us through the daily life of an agent?
Yeah, so I can take y'all right now for prime example, just especially with this draft process, which y'all know, from I would say from January to April, y'all getting ready for the NFL draft, and so early January, y'all pre-draft process, take y'all to a training facility, start training, and then just y'all training, and then do your position training and combine, and then pro day, and then the process of the draft, and just negotiating, talking with teams, just trying to get you signed, if not drafted, and everything like that.
Yeah. For me, I mean, I think what John and I are going through at this point is pretty much the exact same. The only thing that differs is the players that we're talking to teams about, who we're talking to, what different pre-draft bowl games our guys may or may not be invited to. So, I was at East West. I didn't go to Senior Bowl because I didn't have a guy at Senior Bowl, but Joshua Grady did. So Joshua went with some of our team down to Senior Bowl. So we do a lot of that, the traveling. For us, we do a lot of NIL as well. So what I'm doing this week right before the combine, because the feedback really isn't going to change from after the bowl game to the combine. Like if you get that first round of feedback right after the bowl games, you kind of have some idle time before the combine starts. So what I've been doing this week is following up with my NIL guys, and those are all guys that I want to recruit for the NFL going forward. So that's kind of what I've done, met with their families, stuff like that. And then, like John said, combine next week. That's like the Super Bowl for agents, I guess, for lack of a better term.
So, like, going into the combine, like you said, it's the Super Bowl for agents. What is really your go-to, your game plan? Going into the combine, what do you specifically look for? What's your approach? Because I know that's very special not only for agents but also the players.
That's a good question. For me, it's really about shaking hands and getting in front of as many team personnel as possible, whether that's somebody in the front office, somebody on the scouting side. You never know where these relationships are going to take you. Like I've been doing this 4 years now. I've been certified for 2, and I've learned that relationships aren't going to get your guy $100 million contract, but they are going to get you that phone call.
Right.
And I think that for us, like we've done a good job. We've been around 8 years, so we've done a good job of facilitating those relationships in a short time. And I think John would agree with this. A lot of the decision makers for a lot of these NFL teams, like they're more in line with like my age, like 36 to 45, than they are older. So, a lot of the older agents that have been doing this for a long time, like they're seniors to a lot of these guys that are running teams now. So I think, going forward, it bodes well for us who are younger, to go out there, put our face in front of people. So the next time we make that phone call, they're like, oh yeah, I met that guy at the combine last year. We had a good 5-minute talk, and now you're on the phone. Like that's how agency is done.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with EJ. Just that process of going negotiating for your veteran contracts as well, and then that relationship with certain teams. And like EJ said, he's talking that right now.
Most definitely.
I
I had
was
a
given
question.
strict directions, so
How do y'all go about when y'all are recruiting, going after certain players? How do y'all like I see what I want to say. What do y'all look for when y'all look for a player to do y'all look at tape? Do y'all what y'all look for and stuff?
Yeah. Well, first we look at tape. Second, we try to see if anybody has connections, like throughout the staff or anybody of our client, our current client that we have, and see connection. And then plus, my main thing, I don't know about EJ or anybody else, but I gotta see if you love football. That's it. And then a great person off the field and on the field.
I agree with that. I think I would call that a mindset. What John was talking about, and it has to be a complete mindset. Like you have to understand what you have ahead of you for the next 3 months, and then going forward, like I know I can speak for you, Nick. Like when you were at the Saints, you were in the facility 12, 13 hours a day, right? And a lot of guys don't really understand that's what they're going to have to be doing when they first get there. It is a little different from college, so a mindset is something, and then, like you can tell somebody's mindset through a conversation, right? Like where their head is at. After a couple, like you really get to know them, and that's kind of what we do. Is like I think for us and for all agencies, this is probably a huge point, but to build like a genuine relationship and like make sure that because if we don't know the person, how can we accurately strategize for their career and their life? Like why would we put them in situations like if we know how they're going to react to something, don't put them in situations where they're going to have to react like that. So I think getting to know somebody and just being genuine is the bottom line.
Most definitely, man. So it really just sounds like both of you guys are saying that relationships is really the thing that matters. I mean, yeah, X's and O's at the end of the day have their common denominator, but it's really about having a great relationship with your client and also being able to be that middleman for the relationship with the organization. Let's get to know for our viewers and the guys that's watching our show that's trying to get to that level. Sure. Our next question is, what is the harshest truth about being an agent?
God, where do I start? Yeah. Okay, so for me, like I started this, I was lucky. I call it lucky. I think it was God, but I call it lucky for lack of a better term, that I met Joshua Grady when I did. I met him after law school. I went to law school late. I was in my early 30s. I didn't have any relationships. Like had I not met him, like I probably would have never repped you, Nick. I wouldn't be on this podcast. Like who knows where I would be? I'd be an attorney, but like I wouldn't be living my dream, right? So, I kind of I don't know. I take stuff like that, pretty seriously. And then what was the question again? Sorry. I started going off on that.
What's the harshest truth about being an agent?
Okay. So I didn't have any relationships. So like, I'm thinking like after I get like, my first NIL client, like, oh, that's not that hard, okay, whatever. I didn't realize after I got certified a year later that the NFL is a completely different ballgame. You got to have, and I think it's something that smaller agencies struggle with, is like you have to have a roster of experience coupled with resources. And if you don't have those like noticeable and like the perception of your agency is that you have both of those, whether you have them or not, nobody will even get on the phone with you. And, I think we're an agency that's smaller, that has those resources, has that experience. And for some time, for some reason, we can't get over that hump at times. So, I mean, I think that's the harshest reality of it, because I think we're doing good work. Like we do it the right way. I mean, I'm sure, John, you've had situations where you think you're going to sign a guy because you put in the time, you put in the effort, and some agency you've never even heard of signs him, a week before. It's kind of what happens.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree on that. It's I'll say the hardest truth too. Just like you say, you put all that time and effort, and then like another agency like grabs them, and you never even heard of them. You have the resources and everything like that. So that's really my thing on that too.
And I think that goes for all agents, like no matter whether you're a big agency, a small agency, like it's just really cutthroat. Like that's the whole thing. Like, no matter who your friends are that are other agents, like when it comes down to it, man to man, if you're going to try to sign somebody, like that person is going to do what's best for them. And you have to understand that, and you can't take it personally.
I feel that because agents coming down to, flying down, spending their money, spending time with you multiple times, putting in a lot of time to try to get to know you, and then they go a different direction. It's probably like, dang, sucks.
Well, kind of to give a little talking that spin off to that question. What would you say is the craziest thing you've seen so far as being an agent, firsthand?
Hey, craziest thing I've seen for with one agency, and then out of nowhere, somebody paid him like $250,000 under the table and paid off all his debt that he had just out of nowhere. So, and that's one of the craziest things.
That's just one of them. Okay.
This is one of them.
Yeah.
Good question. I haven't seen anything like too crazy out there.
And it doesn't just have
I've
to
had
be
an NIL client. What?
No, you good. Go ahead.
Okay, I've had a NIL client's dad call and threaten me before over something that wasn't even true. So that was interesting. I mean, that's not NFL related, but it is client related. In this draft cycle, I had a financial advisor inflate the draft package for a kid and not tell me about his injury. And until he committed to sign is when I got the information about his injury. And I went back to him and I said, no, like, this isn't right. Here's the deal. And, they turned it on me and said that I was the asshole. I was the liar. And I'm just like, I wouldn't have offered that draft package had I known the injury. And, I think for me, like, people don't deal straight up in this business. Like, you have to look into actions more than you have to look into words. And I think that's another thing I've learned.
Yeah, man. Agents, I ain't gonna lie, they have it hard, man. I've been able to experience firsthand. People do not like agents. Just
No, at all.
the players, coaches, to the scouts, man. Y'all got a lot of people that dislike you guys. That's why I wanted to know. But on the flip side of that gets us to our next question. Regardless of everything that the negative things that y'all may go through, what still fuels your fire to help you, help your clients, help the guys that you sign?
Shoot. What fuels me is, man, I take pride in this. I don't do this just to say I do this. This is cool. Yeah, I'm young, 25, all that stuff like that. It might look cool on the flash sheet and everything like that. Nah, I do this because I really take pride in this and I love this. And I love to help people, and I love to help make people's family happy, make them look happy, and that's all that really matters.
Can you repeat the question for me?
What fuels your fire to help your clients?
I don't know. I think it's kind of twofold for me. In like a family sense, like where I came from and what I talked about, kind of not having much discipline, not being set on like where I was going to go in life and what I was going to do in my early 20s. Seeing you guys go through this and like being able to be there for you. And, I may not be able to tell you what to do all the time, right? Like nobody knows everything, but I sure as shit can tell you what not to do because I have been 20 to 25 before, right? So, I mean, for that, I take a lot of pride in that. And that is a big reason why I continue to do NIL, even though as time goes on, man, like it is getting harder to do that. But, I love all my clients. They're great guys. And, even something as simple as like making sure they have their taxes done this year, right? Like, a lot of guys, like NFL guys, they have that covered. I don't have to do that with any of my NFL guys, but the NIL guys, I get something out of bringing them along and teaching them everyday things in life that nobody learns in high school or college. And that's a whole nother discussion. But, those are kind of the little things that I take pride in.
Definitely, man.
What y'all think about NIL? And do y'all like pursue that heavy with y'all college clients or NIL clients?
Yes. I think it's good for college. Most definitely. I mean, we've been playing this game for how long, and now it's finally like bringing back money and like is more want to be more involved and everything like that. So this is good for people, and plus like they can learn the aspects of having money before they get into the NFL and they see that money and then they just splurge it and everything like that.
Yeah.
Well, going forward, the next question, kind of a chill question, but aside from sports, what are y'all's hobbies and y'all interests? Agents, think about the clients all the time, but just like what do you do in your own time?
John, please don't say you hoop, bro. Please
Bro,
do this.
come on, man. I don't hoop. I like basketball.
Okay.
Or I play Call of Duty. So
Hang out with my family. I got a 3-year-old and one on the way, and that's what you do when you're 36 with a family. And I love every minute of it. I love being a dad. My son played his first season of flag football, and to be honest with you, I hope I don't get in trouble because you're going to post this. I lied on the application and made him a year older than he really is. So the first couple weeks, he had a hard time trying to figure out how to pull flags. So he was just tackling people. So by the end of the year, I know he led the league in tackles. So I hang out with my family. I love basketball, as Nick had mentioned. I play pickup basketball and in leagues probably 3 or 4 times a week. I do not play in the paint because, like I said, I'm 5'7". If you need a 3-pointer, I am your man, no doubt about it. And that's pretty much that's what I do. Hang out with family, play basketball, and I watch North Carolina basketball. I don't miss a game. I watch 30 a year.
Right, that's what's up. Didn't know you were a North Carolina Tar Heel fan.
mm-hmm.
The next question we have for tonight is, what is your end goal for your career? What would you say your highest level of success will be?
All right, I'll take this one first. I don't think that there is an actual level to it. I've always told everybody that the way I feel about it is that if I do this for 30 years and I end up with, we'll say 100 clients, right, which I would be so grateful over those 30 years, right? And every single one of them can look back and be like, that guy had my back. He did exactly what he said he was going to say when he said he was going to do it. He never lied to me. He enhanced my life, right? That is what I want out of this. And through doing that for people on a large scale over years, you earn respect. And then once you get that respect, that's when money comes. And that's kind of how I've thought of my career. And so I don't think there's any agent who starts, if they're saying I'm in it for the money, good luck to you, buddy. That's all I got to say about that. You can't be in it for the money to start out because there are years of working just to get you in a credible place to sign the guys that you want to sign going forward. And I think a lot of agents lose track of that and they get disenchanted with it and they complain, but they forget the fact that they chose this. This is one of the hardest industries there is on earth. I don't care what anybody says. So.
Definitely, I appreciate that. And the final question we have for you guys. Hold on, I don't want to jump over John. I don't think John got to talk about his side of it. My bad. The second to last question is, what is your end goal for your career? What would you say your highest level of success will be?
Like Nick was saying, I don't think it's no highest level of success me personally, it's no cap really for me. I just want make sure my clients is happy. Anybody that I sign, they're happy. Their family is happy. My end goal, everybody wants to say they the best. I just really just want to take care of my family, and my family is my clients. People in the agency, that's my family. So I just want to make sure everybody good, and that's.
Definitely nothing wrong with that. So the last question we have for you guys tonight, and again, I want to tell you guys both thank you for jumping on and talking that with us. But the last question is, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self? And looking back, did you make them proud? Are you making them proud?
Advice I give my 20-year-old self. Granted, I'm only 25. So really 5 years ago, just say keep striving for your goal and your dreams. Granted, 2020, I was around COVID. I went back to college and I was getting my master's, and we had 2 seasons with football, you played in the fall and spring around that time, small NAI. So that was just tough, and then just I didn't know what I was going to do. I know I said I wanted to become an agent, but I didn't know the aspect, everything like that. So just keep trusting in God, really, and keep persevering. And yes, I am definitely proud of my 20-year-old self. I will tell them that.
Definitely.
What would I tell my 20-year-old self? Go home from Potbellies. Don't go to Baja's. These are all bars in Tallahassee. Focus on your schoolwork. Have a plan. And that, like, going back to what I said earlier, that's what I try to instill in everybody that I work with, that it's around y'all's age, because I didn't do that. And you start underground. You got to build yourself up back to ground level before you can even start to, go forward in life. If my 20-year-old self, I would not say that I'm proud yet. I feel like I have a lot more to accomplish, but I am grateful for the position I'm in. That's what I'll say. I don't know. I'm pretty hard on myself as far as like when I try to accomplish something. So I'm not going to be able to answer that question for 20 years.
Definitely, that's real. That's real. And it kind of just hit me on the flip side, man. Like I said, we're gonna have a lot of kids watching that, trying to do what we do, trying to, get with guys like yourselves. So, just what advice would you give, a kid in high school, a kid in college that's, trying to get to the NFL from the agent side of things? What would you just, advise them to do to get to the top level?
We'll just tell them, one, just write down your goals, put them on the wall. Every time you wake them, believe it, pray about it, and make sure you just have a good support system around you. And that's it, really.
Yeah, I mean, very, very similar to that. Going back to, make a plan for yourself, adhere to that plan. Like, discipline is everything. Like, a kid today, like, I don't know how much they know about Kobe Bryant. Like, they know he existed, but like, do you really know how much he trained, what he did every single day? Like, things like that. Like, I feel like kids don't know about work like that these days. And I don't want to talk about everybody. I'm not saying nobody's working, but like, the majority of them don't know how to work. Like, they play off pure talent, sometimes all the way through college. And then when it's time to train for the NFL and do the little things, they don't know how to do it and they fizz out.
Yeah, and the spinoff question from that, talking about like college kids coming out of college. What would you say? Like, what advice would you give them like when they're picking their agent?
All right, that's a good question.
One advice: make sure you can trust them, even though this is a short period of time. Actually, find out if you could really trust them. I know just multiple is going to gain over time and everything like that, but just make sure you can really trust them and see who they really are.
I would agree with that. I would also recommend that they find somebody like Nick, for you, like that was your mom, somebody who is, a family member, a friend, who can kind of help them vet these agents, because, and it has to be somebody who has a genuine care for this person's well-being and their future. It can't be somebody who's looking to ride their coattails financially for the next 12 years, because if that's the case, they're going to end up with A1, because that's who's going to give them the most money. Right. So, I mean, I don't mean to call them out. I have nothing against them, but like, they are a huge agency. So, I mean, that's probably what I would say more than anything, is like, make sure you have somebody that truly has your best interest in mind, helping you vet these agents.
Most definitely. Well, without further ado, man, I just want to thank both of you guys for tuning in and getting on here talking that with us. And man, just appreciate that special episode. Got the agents on here, agent edition.
Real
And,
talk.
appreciate
Yes, sir,
y'all,
man. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you all for having me. John, nice meeting you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to thank y'all for still being tuned in with us. Appreciate those guys for jumping on and talking that with us, man. And just y'all get to see the guys that really are behind the scenes on, what me and Larry do on a day-to-day basis, the guys that really help us get it done. And yeah, that was that. We back talking that we back with the drama. We back with the special segment for part 2 of this episode 7.